All right, everybody, what up? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Austin, and this is Austin's Off-Road Garage. Today, we are assembling a fully boxed lower control arm out of all these bits and pieces right here. Let's jump right in. This is step one to building our lawn travel. Let's go. All right, so what we have right here are some of the internal components to these control arms. So I had these plasma cut out on a table, on a plas table, obviously. And what's left behind, depending on who you have cut these out, is a bunch of slag on all these parts. So our first step is we're gonna either take the bench grinder over there or a flat disc and just get all this slag off these parts. That's the first step. And just like that, we got all the slag removed. This is the bottom plate of this control arm. The upper and all the gussets are right here for the internal stuff. And then these are where your bushings sit. They slide in this groove here. Anyway, so we got all our slag off. Next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put up the edges. I'm gonna build this all the way around here. These have these little keys. They just set in right there. You make sure it's nice and straight, forward to back. We're gonna use magnets to hold these up. I'm gonna run a tape measure down these, make sure they're nice and straight. And I'm gonna tack this all the way up around the edges. So I've kind of pre-assembled this one. I laid out where all these parts go. So we're just gonna start from here and then kind of work our way around and get everything nice and laid out. And then we'll tack weld it up. So we're ready here to weld our first piece in. We've got this one all lined up where I want it. This is about a 16th leading edge here. Right here is about a 16th all the way down. And then it's gonna be the same all the way around this whole control arm. All these parts still line up corner to corner right here. So just gonna be super careful when I tack this because I don't want it to pull one way or the other. I want it to stay nice and straight. So I'm gonna throw a clamp on here and then tack. I'm gonna go inside, outside, inside, outside. And then, yeah, just do the entire rest of all the pieces. I do gotta hit these with the grinder real quick, clean them up, get all that scaling off of there. But this is 3/16 plate all the way around. So welder's all set up. That's what I'm running right there. I'm almost out of gas. I've got new tip and everything in my welding gun there. So pretty nervous. I've never done anything like this before, so only one way to do it. Woohoo! Let's see if we stayed square. Perfect. So now we're just gonna do that 100 more times. Got these edges all tacked up. The problem I'm having is I need to weld, like fully weld the entire outside and the inside of this thing without it warping. And I really have this nice ghetto table that was here when I bought this shop, but that's not gonna be all right. to me. So I need to figure out a flatter spot and clamp it down. And then we'll start fully welding this thing. I'm gonna run out of gas on my welder. I mean, look at, we're pushing it already. It'd be nice to lay down a couple inches of weld tonight. It's coming along nicely though. Looks like kind of like a control arm now. So I've got this figured out. These internal gussets here. Took me a minute, but I figured it out. And I've numbered each one. And it just goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Those are the main ones. And then we have these other ones that are gonna go kind of at an angle like this down to here. And same on this side. And then I gotta weld these on here too as well. I think they just sit on there like that. I'm talking with the guy right now who built these plans to kind of figure out how they go. But it's coming along. I do want to throw a weld on the inside before I put these down, just because it's going to be really hard to weld these tiny little areas if I don't do that. So want to get that done, and then as soon as we can get that all figured out, these guys, I need to make sure that this is all square too, so I need a piece of tube for that. And then yeah, just slowly but surely. It's a lot of work, guys. And then once we get ready to put that top plate on, we got to make sure everything's nice and flat and it sits flush, because plasma tables aren't perfect. But yeah, looking sick. It's gonna be so beefy. 3/16 fully boxed control arms. Upper and lowers. All right, so we got some progress made here. We've got all the gussets fully welded up. Everything looking good. We've got these front pieces on here for the ball joint. Our next task is, these are what mount the control arms to the frame. And they've got to fit on this tube. And this tube holds the lower control arm bushing. So my problem that I'm running into right now is that these don't quite fit. It's a little thicker wall tubing than it calls for. It's just what I could find at my local metal mart. That one fits because I've worked it. But what we're doing here is we need to get these all put in place, and then we're going to use this tube to keep everything in a straight line so that everything mounts to the truck nice and even. So what I'm going to do, take a Dremel, just work those around until they slide over this tube, and then we'll put them in place, get everything nice and squared up, and then we will slap some tack welds on there. I don't know if I'm going to fully weld these yet, because I want to make sure that it fits on the 4Runner before we really go any further, which means we finally got to tear this thing apart, which I'm having a hard time because it's summertime now and I really want to go use this thing, but I also want to get this done. So if it fits up good, then we'll continue. If it fits up bad, I'm putting it back and we're going to go enjoy this thing all summer. So let's keep grinding, welding, and we'll get this thing slapped together eventually. All right, so got these all fitted on here. Took entirely too long. But now you can kind of see what we're trying to do here. Get everything nice and straight. I've kind of got this ghetto setup going on to where I can get these nice and straight and aligned when I tack it. So yeah, progress. And then obviously after you weld these in, you'll basically just cut a piece that's so wide that fits that bushing. And yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and tack these up and then I'll show you when it's done. That was probably the hardest part that I've had to do so far. I'm gonna have to adjust this gap here. That one looks pretty decent. It's just these things are sliding all over the place trying to hold this. Oh, that was fun. But I got a couple good tacks on each piece. We'll see what we can do about that. I don't really know. I just kind of made sure that it was kind of even with the top of this. Not really sure how deep it's supposed to be, like the angle. But we're making progress. We'll figure it out. And bam, we got a complete control arm. No, I'm just kidding. This piece and this piece, I'm just testing it up. This thing is hot still. But I kept that tube in place and just fully welded these up. They look pretty dang legit to me. Sorry, this thing is roasting hot. Let me get a glove here. Everything seemed pretty square. The tube comes in and out pretty easy. So yeah, I fully welded those on the bottom. And then where those keyways were on this bottom plate, I plug welded all those and then ground it flat. And then I've been kind of working on getting this fit up here. To make sure that it's flat on top right here, and then get this piece fitted. That's what's next. So here's my plan. What I want to do is build one side and then tear the 4Runner apart and kind of play with it and make sure this is actually going to work. Not that I don't believe that it will, I just want to make sure. I'm going to be driving this on the freeway and stuff, so I want to make sure it's legit, everything works. And so we're gonna build that lower completely, and then we're gonna start on one of the uppers. I know I've left a lot left in this video, but I'm literally like 8 hours in on this. There's just a lot of little tiny things that you have to do fit up wise, like grinding. It's just a lot of work. I've literally been busting my ass out here for a while. So I just wanted to give you guys a little taste of what we got coming down in the future, coming down the pipe. And hope you enjoy it. This is pretty dang fun. It's definitely testing my skills. I keep looking at the arm because it looks so sweet. So if you guys have any tips or tricks, or if you think it's overkill or blah, 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 let me know down in the comments. And as always, I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. This is the first long travel video of many, because we got a lot of work ahead of us. Thanks for hanging out with me, guys. We'll catch you next time.